Hello, valued viewers. I hope you're all doing wonderfully well. The next most requested viewer small naval battle is the US Arleigh Burke Flight 3 versus the modern or most modern version of the UK Type 45 destroyer. So we've got on the left here in the blue, Arleigh Burke Flight 3 Flotilla, 4 destroyers and an AWACS, and 4 Type 45s on the right. In red, they're 100 miles away from each other. Over the horizon, we press play and see what happens. Let's look at some details. First, Arleigh Burke will be in the anti-ship configuration, which means that we get 64 ESSMs for self-defense, 16 SM2s for self-defense, 32 SM6s for self-defense, and 16 SM6s configured for anti-ship. Of course, that's possible in real life. SM3s won't be used today, and Tomahawk 4s won't be used today. Versus British Type 45 in its latest guise. Weapons, we have Sea Scepters, a mushroom farm here of 24 Sea Scepters, CAM missiles for close range defense. For long range defense, we have Aster 30 Block 1 in VLS here, 48 of them. Offensive anti-ship, we have 8 naval strike missiles. Very different to an SM6, obviously. These are sea-hugging subsonic missiles. Type 45, I've put at 45 degrees to the threat axis to unleash all the weapons. Now, controversially, the Arleigh Burkes I've put going straight forward, and that's because ours has the 2 CWIS from the Block 2 model. We're using the Block 3, so this way it only allows the front to fire. Are you happy with that, or do you want me to change that? That was the best way I could think of dealing with it.
Yeah, it works for me, absolutely.
Predictions, then, CH. Who do you think is going to win and why?
So we will see some SM6 anti-ship missiles here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know these are pretty fast, and they have 16 of them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So that's 16 times 4 is 64 anti-ship missiles on blue, whereas Reds only have 32 total anti-ship missiles and they're subsonic.
But we also know that the Sea Scepters are pretty effective in close range defense against these, so maybe it will be pretty even. Interesting to see. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go for British viewers because I kind of have to, I suppose. I'm obligated. Right, pause. Off we go. Let's start with the Americans. We're going to see SM6 anti-ship, first of all, I imagine. There we go. Very fast SM6 going up. I've set them up as groups, CH, so that, you know, they're all linked together and they're all linked to the AWACS. We have a naval strike missile, and I've just missed one. Ooh, naval strike missile, viewers.
The Norwegian stuff.
Yeah, very different way of doing things. Let's have a look at the SM6.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's very different approaches here.
And I guess it's important to say that naval strike missile is very much a full-blooded anti-ship missile, whereas SM6 was never really designed to be an anti-ship missile per se, but it's a stopgap solution until LRASM B and Tomahawk 5 are fully in operation. Is that what you would agree with?
Yeah, exactly. It's been more like an all-rounder now because they can even strike land targets, I think, with the latest updates.
Right, first SM6 is coming in now. They go very, very, very fast, and let's see how the British deal with them. Quite well. That's nice.
Yeah.
Boom. Nice. This being the latest block of Aster 30 with anti-ballistic, these are not ballistic missiles, but anti-ballistic capability, configuration optimization.
Actually not.
Is it not?
Yeah, exactly. There is also an even newer one, which is made for the anti-ballistic stuff. This is a version in between.
Well, that's why you're here, CH, to tell me the things I don't know, and there is a lot that I don't know. Obviously, the NSMs are going to take their sweet time to get across the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when we're used to the YJ-21s.
YJ-21s, yeah.
Love it when these launch.
Wow, that's close, CH.
Yeah.
Oh, their sea scepters are going up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. They look very...
Oh, they're the sea scepters that were going up, right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Right, well, they've dealt with the load. It's a little bit scary the sea scepters are coming up, but that usually means that they're starting to get through, but it is probably just coincidence. So it seems to be that they're firing in small salvos or ripples, so 8 NSMs out and 6 SM6s out. Who decides that? I'm pretty sure it's Core Game that decides that, isn't it?
I was just about to mention that. That's something I really would have asked to be changed. I mean, to make them a little bit smarter, or at least some sort of randomization or something. Because, if we have a very limited amount of missiles, you really want to put them away in more...
If we just had a checkbox saying how many missiles do you want, how many anti-ship missiles do you want to salvo? 10, 20, 100? And then we can really start to optimize, because it causes problems with all of our
or maybe, I mean, we can choose the skill level. Why also not have a setting for aggressiveness or defensive, offensive aggressiveness or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scope for anti-ship in DCS, and there's a lot that other games and sims can't do, so I reckon there's a lot they can add, and I don't think it'll be that difficult. I mean, choosing how many missiles to fire, that's something I could code, it should be relatively easy. Here's a thing that's happening. Right, loads of self-defense missiles have finally gone out. Usually a mixture of stuff. SM2s in there, SM6s.
Yeah.
The thing that decides what missile is fired in-game does not worry about the cost, so it just fires whatever it wants to fire. In real life, you'd very much be worrying about the cost. I noticed the Arleigh Burkes that shot down the missiles on their way to Israel the other day were firing SM2s, probably because of cost.
Yeah, absolutely. That's their base model, so to say, because they have a lot of them from earlier on these older ships they're using right now. And also, we shouldn't forget that there are different setups in the VLSs, so they can fire simultaneous with the SM6 and the 2s, because they use different targeting solutions. One is actually with the semi-active, and the other one is active, so they can use them, fire them simultaneously.
That's pretty impressive. If you're watching CH, look at that.
Yeah.
That's Aegis Defence in action there, viewers. Watch this through. I get the feeling, assuming that these NSMs can get hit, which they probably can, I get the feeling this is going down to an attrition battle, which is so normal and probably relatively realistic. Who runs out of defensive missiles first?
Yeah.
Wow,
there aren't a lot of real-world cases we can study in this.
Right.
I mean, all the data is very, very old, because we haven't seen this in the real world. I mean, we have seen Russian ships being sunk, but they are mostly in the harbor.
They're almost all in, apart from the big one, the one in the other days, they're all in the harbour. And they're all kind of semi-active. They've got a skeleton crew. It's not really a fair test, which is really annoying, because I want to see a fair test.
Yeah. We don't really know how well they will be able to defend against all these anti-ship missiles. I mean, it could be completely off. We really don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. And I often argue with Simba about this every day, pretty much. He wants certain units nerfed. And I say, you've got to go by the wiki-style public data. Because if you don't, you'll just start making stuff up, and you'll just make America brilliant and China terrible. And then we'll not have any war games anymore, because there'll be no... there'll be no fight there. You've really got to go to what people claim their stuff can do. Yeah. And if it's a load of BS, then, well, it's a load of BS, but... Maybe those YJ21s wouldn't hit anything, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Go with it.
Maybe all of them will burn when they come down again. We don't really know, because it's very hard to hit, especially hit moving targets. That doesn't sound very hard with these kind of speeds, but when you're traveling at that kind of speeds, to get some sort of seeker to track something while moving, from what I've read, it's incredibly hard.
Well, the more I'm reading, the more I'm verging, because I'm looking at the DF21 at the moment. Obviously, there's the Dongfeng series, and the more I look, the less people seem to be convinced that it can really do anything other than get within like a half a mile of a target, let alone find and track an aircraft carrier. As a lot of them are claimed to be able to do.
Exactly. And this really long-range one relies on satellites, and that's another level of complexity for the signals.
Yeah. Right, viewers. So far, in case you can't read it, Red, UK have fired 17 anti-ship missiles and 57 SAMs. Blue have fired 29 anti-ship missiles and 15 SAMs. It's just going to plug away like this for a while. UK have costed $105 million. America $190 million. American stuff's very good, but it's also expensive. I guess you get what you pay for at the end of the day. But they have a bigger tax base, CH, so they can afford it.
Yeah, that's the real attrition.
Yeah.
Waiting for the Americans to send out their underwater SEAL teams.
Right, I'm gonna punch that along because I can. That's just smacking them down. Nothing. They've had no leakage so far, so the salvos just aren't big enough.
You would have had to, fire half of the 64s at once, maybe 32 times 2 or something like that. That would probably have made a little more of a dent.
Good interception. Boom. So, like we said, viewers, it's going to be a case of attrition, as we often see on these battles with these 2020s vessels. Who's going to run out of their missiles first? That's 25. Red have fired 25 anti-ship missiles and 80 SAMs. I'm worried about the amount of SAMs Red have fired. That's 90 now.
Yeah, that's a big difference between the two setups here, when it comes to the amount of missiles in the loadouts.
Especially with those blue quad-packed ESSMs.
Yeah, exactly.
My only slight worry is that the blues, reds, they're double tapping or triple tapping everything, as you can see.
Yeah.
So they're sending out more missiles than they need, which is actually a really good idea for short battles because it makes sure you do intercept the thing. But there's also the negative side of it, which means you will run out 3 times as quickly of defensive missiles, and there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something I've been looking into for the next update on the American stuff, because that's more of the American doctrine when it comes to these. The launch check, where the other ones here will be launch check launch.
Yeah, right. So that's a completely different doctrine of defense.
At least I've been thinking about doing it for the ESSMs, which are the self-defense stuff for closer range.
Yeah, and that
really launch, and then check.
Yeah, and especially because they're anti-swarm, designed kind of as anti-swarm, really. So yeah.
Exactly. So that's something I've put on the list.
Roger, we are 15 minutes in Viewingtons.
And I will also disable the front CWIS.
Is it the front? I thought it was the rear it didn't have.
No.
It's not going to be... Yeah.
It's the front one, doesn't it?
Ah, right. Well, I've done it the wrong way around then.
Although that's why I hesitate, but it doesn't
matter. It doesn't matter. It's both sides. Yeah. Right. UK fired 110 SAMs, and they can go all day, viewers.
And if they had some...
America
had some replenish ships also, they can go all day.
Yeah, Red have now fired all their this is going to be a stalemate. Red have fired all their anti-ship missiles, and Blue have fired, apart from 5, all their anti-ship missiles. Yeah. So I'm afraid this is going to be the case, viewers, of where both, and this is actually one of the reasons why I haven't done this until people moaned at me for loads for doing it. In both cases, Type 45 and Arleigh Burke have much more defense than they do offense. If you want to blow small stuff up at long range, take the Ticonderoga. But the Arleigh Burke is much more defensive based, at least until we start seeing Larazan B and stuff. If it ever goes into service, I don't know.
It's very different if you look at these Western kind of ships, because they are mostly for the anti-air defense stuff. So they're completely different. From an old time before, the Russians have always been going for the offensive, and we see the same with China's weapons on their ships. Very offensive, but the Western doctrine is more of the anti-air stuff.
Yeah, and then they'll have a lot of their offense will be in their fighter air wings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, carry groups. Yeah.
Now, don't worry, viewers. You will see ships blowing up today. I will guarantee it, because at the end of this, I'll make them fight. I'll make them dogfight with guns. But let's see.
And something that's interesting was when you mentioned the cruise missile that had been taken down recently with the SM2s.
Yes.
Very interesting with the, as I mentioned, replenishment, because there isn't really a solution for at-sea replenishment of these VLSs.
Yep. Right.
So that's pretty interesting. You have to travel far to reload them.
It's kind of stupid, really, when you think about it. You need another ship with a big crane on it that can somehow do it. Boom.
Yeah, and they can't really do it when they are at sea, because they haven't implemented any solutions for it. They had it before, but they don't have that now.
Right, viewers, that didn't work, or it did. In fact, it really showed that these ships do what they're designed to do, which is defend aircraft carriers pretty much. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to need a minute to think how to set it up, but we're going to do a close-range guns fight. Right, viewers, I promised destroyed ships, and destroyed ships you will get. So it's exactly the same fight, but now they're starting at however many feet that is. No idea what's going to happen, or if it'll even work, but go. It worked! Bushmasters firing, Seawiz firing, naval cannon firing. Oh my god, a missile just went out! Go on UK! Go on friggin' UK!
This is the American Mark 45 against the UK Mark 8.
Oh, absolutely smashed, viewers. And I think it should have... Yes, it fired, look, they're aiming. Reaction time, question mark? Obviously, accuracy is not a thing, so reaction time? I guess the British just fired, they're gone. Quicker. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
there is, I mean, take it with a pinch of salt, obviously, viewers, but there is actually something in that. What I do know is the guns are kind of similar, naval guns, but I know the British one does have a better rate of fire, and that's real, isn't it, CH?
Yeah, slightly better rate of fire, and I have modeled based on the available data with the elevation and the turret speed and all that stuff, reload speed, and everything is based on the available data. So that's all I can do with it.
And we've seen all the Type 45s are down to 50-60% health, so they were absolutely getting smashed, viewers. They've just got a better naval gun. Exactly what CH said. Thank God we invested in that gun. Annoyingly, our next ship, a Type 26, is going back to the crappy American gun. So these are just too expensive, viewers. So that's a bit annoying. But at least we get this kill. Right, viewers, so as best we can with public data, and you always got to take that with a pinch of salt because everything's really classified, but at long range, they just duke it out and run out of missiles, as you would expect, due to their design, pretty much. But put it in a gunfight, and theoretically, Type 45 gets it. Zam, 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 zam. And demonetization and the Patreon gets cut in half. But there you go. That's the best we can do. CH, that was thoroughly enjoyable. We should do more of these. Anything to add?
No.
Bye-bye.